great. He does do good work. Okay, so you want, is there anything else that you want to add to the, hey, this is what worked well? Thinking of like future directors. I mean, I know you guys kind of came into this like cold, but so kind of guinea pigs, I guess. But you did a great job.
Yeah.
Even though you had some challenges, you really did. Is there anything else for the positive side that was a strength that worked really well that you would want to see in print? If I had something like this in place to hand off to you, is there anything else that you would say, oh, that would really help to know that?
Well, one thing is like you have to decide where to film and stuff, because like not always the setting can be from one person. Like, oh, I want this would look good, this shot would look good. Another would think that doesn't really look good with the timeline stuff. So like you come up with a group decision. Okay, we should film it here. I mean, not always people are satisfied with the decision, but you gotta be the boss and step in, be like, okay, we have to do it here because it suits the film a little bit better. Like organizing into like.
I would also say like bringing your own stuff, because you got cameras for them, but like you said, the audio isn't that great. And if you bring your own stuff, you know what you're going to be working with, and you know like the parameters that you can work within. And like some people didn't have a tripod, and that would have been nice. So just like if you have the availability of gear, then you should bring it.
Anybody else?
For positives?
Yeah.
I thought like since you gave us this audit, we already kind of knew what it was. Like since I had bullying, there's so many things about bullying that you can do, like how to branch off of it. So getting the topic that you like you got to choose the topic that we kind of like from what you gave us. So it was really.
Leo, could you put down like miscellaneous? Is it? I'm hearing like three or four actually different things under miscellaneous. Having your own equipment or knowing your equipment ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing the parameters of where you're able to film. I want to make sure she gets that. Knowing the parameters of where you can film. Parameters. I may have to change that word. And then Tatiana, you want to tell her what you said?
Because knowing your topic, really liking your topic, so you can know what you're doing.
And I have one last one, because I kept hearing this kind of bubble out, that if you're the director, you have to take charge. So, and if I remember correctly, it was a voluntary, I'm the director, right? So, I guess you need to know your group and know yourself before you decide, hey, I'll do this. But it's a learning experience too, even, you know. So let's move on to what could have been better. What would have worked better, whatever.
Well, definitely we had some goofing off points. Like, we would just sit there, laugh, like not talk about work that much. But, I mean, that kind of helped us in a way, because, like, we can't always do work. We need just, like, some relaxation time, comedy break.
Time to, like, clear your mind off, so it's not so, like, stuck.
So is that what didn't work, or what?
It didn't work, but then it worked, because, like,
Yeah,
because it set us back a little bit, but it kind of relaxed us and gave us like, okay, let's do this now. Let's go kill it. Like we will do this.
And how did that work for you?
It didn't work.
It only works because you get delivers. Because we know we're going to work. When it didn't work because we know we only have a certain amount of time because we're on a time schedule. So we kind of worked up a little bit too much. And I'm trying to like, hurry up and get the shots, and then what are we doing? And like, well, we can redo it later. I kind of just want to get it right and see what we can change, what we cannot change, and then we can go from there. Trying to like, make sure that everything's clear, that you can't overturn that, like we make sure no one's in the hallways and having to stop, so no one's getting in the shot.
Okay, that was a lot of different stuff. What about you, Kennedy? Do you have something to share about what didn't work?
What didn't work was not being decisive at all. There was a lot of arguing in my group that set us back a lot. We are honestly still behind. We still have to. So being decisive is definitely something a director should be doing. Resolve issues. Voting usually works. We voted a lot in my group, and I got us through a lot of stuff. And
We could go back and put that under miscellaneous what worked. Because I think we had in, if you're the director, you have to take charge and to break those standoffs, maybe, and doing the voting, like Kennedy said. Do you want to add that, Lee, to the, right under the next line, like underneath as a subcategory, if you're the director, you have to take charge, voting. Okay, so we're still focusing on what didn't work. So how can you summarize what you said about
Try not to goof off.
Yeah, pretty
Try.
much.
Try not to
Try.
A
Because it's
lot.
not possible
Yeah,
to
it's
not.
inevitable.
Try
It's
not to
inevitable.
goof off a lot.
So, okay, so try not to goof off, and maybe in parentheses, how can you avoid, like, putting, like, how could you avoid that?
Have like a plan before the day, or have a plan before the day that you're gonna follow, so like regimented, and you know what you're gonna do.
So, so the director would have that?
I mean, we could plan it as a group, but the director would have it.
Okay. Okay. All right, that's one. What else?
Trying to keep your group on task, like if you should never prepare everything out, like take charge of everything. Because we have to focus.
So keeping your group on task, do you all agree with that? Is that a challenge?
That was
you
a
all-
major setback.
That was.
Because we could not film like with our the clothes we had prepared because it was really cold outside, so we couldn't really go out in rags and like film pirates and stuff. Yeah, I mean ours was supposed to be funny, so we just did the best we can like in the space we had, and it came out great. But, yeah, weather is definitely a setback.
Yeah.
So maybe planning?
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna say planning, like, have your main plan, then have a backup plan. Like, if they wanted to film outside, then it's too cold. Just have like a plan to film inside in the same aspect.
So how do you do that? How do you plan for the weather?
Good check the weather.
Check the weather, kid.
Like,
So if you have the schedule like you mentioned, right, then that means you would
we'll
have
the
to
weather.
On
plan
that schedule, you have a backup plan.
and a backup. You know, and you know what I found really interesting through this whole process is all the stuff that you experience really happens
Mhm.
when film companies are making a movie. Everything that you're saying, so it's not just because you know you're in high school, but it happens out in business world as well. You know, and there are a lot of movies that are made, not just movies that you go to watch in the movie theater, but there's a lot of training videos that are made. So that's another aspect of doing this kind of work, what we're doing here in school, is that it relates to a lot of different disciplines out there in the business world. Okay, so we've got 3, we need 1 more.
Another thing is like, I think before you edit, kind of look into your editing program before you start, because I know we had a lot of trouble, and he knows because we had to ask him a couple of questions. So I think just kind of looking into it more, just so when it's time to edit, you'll know where everything's at and what you need to do. Easier.
Do you agree with what Lee said about the editing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so becoming familiar, knowing the software ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because I knew how to use Sony Vegas. Like, it gave me an advantage over like some people in the other groups. Like, I was able to do it like better, maybe slow motions, make it funny. Like, that's the whole point of our video. It was like a comedy / like action, but like being able to do these stuff like enabled us to get it fast, make it look good, and really outshine everyone.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Find out.
it's gotta be good.
The unveiling is tomorrow.
It's
Tomorrow, so.
glad to get it on. What can I say? That confident, right?
Uh-huh. Kennedy, did you have something that you wanted to share?
You guys have all basically covered what I have, but
I feel like our groups have experienced a bunch of the same stuff as far as pros and cons. So.
What about you, Tim? You had a really kind of unique experience. I mean, Kennedy did as well, but your experience was a little bit different than other people. So we're still focusing on like what could have been better or different to make things happen.
I think being organized and having stuff done at the exact time and returning
What do you think happened, like the due dates, kind of, because there were exact due dates on some of this stuff.
I think that basically felt my part because I didn't tell them, like, hey, you need to turn this on this day. And I wasn't answering, or I wasn't being answered as I should.
Was that comfortable role for you, or?
Yeah, I think I just wasn't doing that myself.
So, well, we have 3, right?
We have one more.
I just got one more final thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, in our group, sometimes we have people missing, like, because, like, an accident or, like, an emergency or something. That kind of, like, because they were, like, one of the main characters, so we had to, like, have a backup plan. Like, either the video camera guy will have to step in, like, we'll have someone else, like, one of our friends, be the video camera guy, while the other guy just becomes, like, one of the characters. I mean, and we had to do that until we had to substitute, like, until we found the original character. Just put them in the scenes. Other than that, it was all good.
So, and you're right, that is a very valid point, that sometimes, because you can't always plan on who's going to be here, and especially which person has an integral part, like the flash drive that has all of the files on it, or, you know, that's a really important part. So, so if we have 4, let's move on to one last little thing, because we still have time. And I think that really goes into,
Yeah, that's also like part of habit battles.
yeah. And I was thinking maybe we could do, if I had this to do all over again, I would do, you know, what would you do different? If you had this, knowing what you know now, what would you do different?
Choose a different topic.
Choose
I don't know. I want something that would have been more fun, like acting, more than interviews and stuff like that. That's what I would have done differently.
Okay.
I would have expected my scene, like, you know, we were kind of leaning to certain areas, so I thought we'd be like being able to like do some after school video shoot, or you know, other things that would probably fit better for your scene.
So a better location?
Yeah.
meetings where we just go straight through the line so everybody knows and then start talking about
What do you think? Do you all agree that that was,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a lot of bloopers on wait, so, or
Yeah.
wait.
so where would you, if you're building this manual, where would you put that?
Under miscellaneous.
Yeah.
So have a, learn your line session or two?
Also, what you said about like having film sessions outside of class, that probably would be better too, because some things you just can't do in class, like in school. Say if you want to have an action scene, you can't bring like gun props or anything, so that's kind of, it limits you on what you can do really. So if you have the possibility to do like a shot outside of school, you should take it.
That's a really good point. However, it means that your team somehow has to come together, coordinate, yeah, because of the fact that not everybody lives with you.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, and back to what work, we exchanged numbers, so that was really helpful because we filmed off of one person's iPad, and so like I was able to text her and say, oh no, you know, we need to be on scene so that I can flash up. So like having everybody's number helped.
so would you all agree that's a good thing?
Oh yeah, that's the first thing we did.
You definitely put that down then, because that would be like a really important thing for people to know, because we may not think about that.
Or really do that.
Yeah. You think that would have helped you if you had?
It probably would have helped
So
you
which one?
with pros.
Pros, yeah,
Communication.
yeah.
I wish we had a green screen, like the green thing.
Those are fun.
Yeah, like you would just act and like not have to worry about backgrounds, and like when you're doing the editing, you just plug all that in.
Yeah, just put a picture.
Yeah. Even if we're confined to like certain areas, we can like still make it look good.
It's a good idea. Maybe that could be part of the process is building, because that shouldn't take,
All you need to do is like you can buy a green sheet at
Yeah,
Walmart.
a really big blue sheet.
yeah, that's a great idea. That's great. 'Cause, yeah, then you could have like an action, and then that would actually take care of what you were saying, Brendan, about having the the locale, because then you can put in your
You can do
locale.
whatever you want to.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I like that. Okay, well, we've got about 5, 6 more minutes. Is there anything else that you would like to add that you wish, if, like I said at the beginning, that you had known about, if you had a manual to follow? Is there anything else? Kennedy, can you think of anything?
Just be considerate of others, show empathy. If like someone brings up an idea, or just because you're the director doesn't mean shoot them down. You need to think about it, be kind, show that you're considering their idea. Don't just immediately shoot them down. So I guess be passionate.
Can you do like a miscellaneous, like on the next page, on the back side of that?
I already had one.
No, I want just a general, like, for the good of the all, I guess you could say. In fact, that could be a title, for the good of the all.
That's true.
However you want to write it. If that doesn't work for somebody, because remember, I'm typing this up for, the next group, and they're your age, so whatever. And so, do you think that Kennedy has a valid point to add that? So,
Other people's,
as a director,
Be considerate.
Yeah, you want to explore all your options because no movie is made by one person.
Yeah.
There's tons of input being put into. If you consider all the inputs, then it's going to make you feel better.